Hello racing fans, and welcome back to another edition of Handicapper's Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'm Mike Heads along with Drew Forster. We're going to go through the Sunday, September 21st races at Hastings. We do have two futurities today.
Yep.
Should be a great card. Anytime you get the 2-year-old Canadian breds, that's a restricted Canadian bred race, but $200,000 in stakes races today.
Yeah, they put together a good supporting cast for it too. Before we get into Sunday's card, we're going to go back to Derby Day, last Sunday, and look at the two premier races on the card. This first one we're looking at is the Oaks. Sabrina to the lead, as we figured. Gets overtaken there by the two Irish Lyric. Irish Lyric runs a monster race this day. And the 3-horse on her outside, Dossalina. These two mares run a bang-up race. There's Fire Beauty rolling up to put some pressure up
this
there.
really dictated the winner right here.
This her
Fire Beauty,
Dossalina,
23 flat opening quarter. Fire Beauty's just firing up on the outside. And the tempo quickened, and it was a little too much. It certainly made things a little more difficult for Dossalina on the head end. But Arabella's Muse settling in fourth. Ollie's Mist was out 3 deep. She didn't get any favors this day. She was 3 wide the whole race. Champagne Gals in between, the gray filly, just on the inside. Ollie's Mist, they're about 6th and 7th, but they went 46 and 2.
46 and 2, and Ollie's Mist is closer kind of than she really likes to be. As you mentioned, not really her ideal trip for this day. And Dossalina is such a fighter. She just, she never seems to give up no matter what the fractions are, and puts in a really strong effort again today. Yeah,
and there's 4 across the track at the 3/8 pole. We're going to lose Fire Beauty here in a minute, but here comes Dossalina. Irish Lyric put in a good run. Arabella's Muse is still hanging in. Ollie's Mist now runs into 4th, and it's pretty much these 4 from here on in, from the quarter pole home. Amadeo Perez looking for room here, and he's going to find it. He's going to split horses here as Arabella's Muse can't hold their position on the outside of Irish Lyric, and that's going to be the difference. It cost Irish Lyric to win.
Yeah, really good race too. 3 of them right at the wire, and Ollie's Mist, there's your champion 3-year-old filly of 2014.
That was a good race. She hasn't won by much. She wins, but boy, she didn't win by much.
I know, if you put all her wins together, it might be
you
a
got
length.
Like a couple of feet. No, not even.
Maybe
nose, neck. Yeah, you're right.
She always just gets there, but she wins. She's a win machine.
Congratulations to Canmore Farms and Tracy McCarthy and Amadeo Perez. Just getting up by a lip to hanging on Irish Lyric for the Ohashis and Paddy Leaning. That was a good run from them as well.
The next one we're going to look at, here we go.
The big one of the day, the BC Derby.
Horses to keep an eye on here. Your favorite, Alert Bay, coming out of the 5-hole, Coffee Grinder in the 1-hole, and Delray Harbor, the Seattle Invader, the 4. He goes right to the lead.
Yeah, he goes right to the front, Delray Harbor.
Under Galen Mitchell.
Alert Bay got a nice trip here. Really good ride by Rico.
Again, for the 2nd year in a row, 3rd year in a row for the other connections, Anita Bolton and Peter Redekop with the natural hat trick.
But Delray Harbor gets the lead, and here's Off the Top on the outside, and Alert Bay
Off the Top ran a big race too. He hangs
nice
off the spot.
Me Boss Man kind of stuffed in behind horses there, laying 5th. And a long way back to Coffee Grinder. Coffee Grinder lost contact early, and that's what cost him the race.
22 and 4, and Alert Bay is not far off these.
No, he's perfect. Look at
leaders,
this. I mean, you can pretty much pick the winner from here.
Yeah.
You're laying 3rd like this, and in behind a 2-horse speed duel between Del Rio Harbor and Off the Top. I mean, Alert Bay had to win from there.
Those two did very good to hang on for 3rd and 4th, respectively, Del Rio Harbor and Off the Top, after going decent fractions. The second one, they slowed it down a little bit, but still going a mile and an eighth when you go 22 and 4 your first quarter.
They slowed it up to 47.
Not ideal.
Not bad. Not bad. And there's Remember to Breathe in Alert Bay. They're kind of creeping up, and Me Boss Man's really got nowhere to go there on the backstretch. But
I thought he was in a perfect spot. I thought he was.
No, he had no excuse. No, that was a good. He was in a good spot.
Yeah, Mario rode a good race, but he did not have the horse. Alert Bay under Rico Walcott did have the horse, and he takes command here. And from here on out, it's kind of a foregone conclusion.
Coffee Grinder got no favors done.
Yeah,
he was like 4 deep the whole. Alert Bay had too good a trip for Coffee Grinder to win. Let's just put it. I think that's kind of simplifies things. I mean, they're 2 nice colts. Then the reverse trips, Coffee Grinder wins. If Alert Bay's 8 lengths back and Coffee Grinder's laying 3rd, Coffee Grinder wins.
It's going to be a different story.
But they're 2 nice colts, and they showed that. And Alert Bay's a really, really quality horse. And congratulations to Peter Redekop, 3 in a row. Anita Bolton, 2 in a row, and
Rico Walcott, 2 in a row.
another back-to-back derbies, of course, they connected last year.
Successful Derby day, Derby card, and a great
contender.
race.
Yeah, excellent day, and it capped off a great last Sunday afternoon. And we'll get into this Sunday's program. We got some $8,000 3-year-old fillies to go 6.5 furlongs. I ended up on the 3-horse DS Soban. This horse has been a perfect 2 for 2 since removing the blinkers. Certainly seems to be a winning equipment change for her, and I'll gamble that she's going to continue to do well. The 2-horse New Twist Miss didn't do anything wrong in her Hastings debut or career debut, and looked good against the boys that day. She did defeat a few colts. And I put the 4-horse Little Blossom, who might take advantage of a pace tool, in for third. Those I thought were the 3 horses, 3, 2, 4. You can kind of interchange those ones, but that's what I went 3, 2, 4.
I have the same horses. I put Little Blossom on top. I thought that run behind, even though she was a big price that day, the run behind only getting beaten a length and a quarter by CA Mess, who since dropping to this level has been unbeatable. CA Miss would be both our top pick in here, and held herself very well. So I put her on top. DS Siobhan, as you mentioned, going very well right now. However, she does come out of a non-2 4,000 race into the $8,000 category. That kind of scared me off her a little bit. At New Twist Miss, under Richard Hamill, the one race for a well-bred daughter of Tail of the Cat. She's got a lot of upside potential, and she moves into a perfect 3-year-old filly $8,000 move. That could be, wouldn't be surprised to see her in the winner's circle under Richard Hamill. 4, 3, 2 for me. I have the same horse as Mike. I think you need all 3 in there. On to the second race. 3-year-olds and up, claiming 8,000 wide open, going 6.5. And I went to the 7 here, Cowboy Commander. Just got beat ahead by Majestic Mark. He's got a nice stalk and pounce kind of move. He gets leading rider Amadeo Perez. I like him on top. The second spot, I went with Graffiti Grace. Keyshawn Bell-Gobin had his choice between these two, and he went with Graffiti Grace. She's got the back class. She has fallen off form lately, but ran against some tough fillies in a good time of 117 for 12.5. Drops to 8 against not a whole really salty bunch of $8,000 claimers. So I don't mind Graffiti Grace. I put her in the second spot. And the third spot, I went to Heath Jr. Good win. Same level last time under Frank Fuentes. He can be heard from as well. I got 7, 1, and 6.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the 5 Stole It. I'm going to give Savici here a chance to get his first win, and I hope that happens. He chased 21 and 3, 44 and 2 at the 16,000 non-2 level. Gets into an 8,000 non-2 here, or non-2, non-3 BC bred, but a far better spot. And I don't think Heath Jr. can go with him. Not those kind of fractions. I think this horse will be dangerous on the head end, so I'm going to give Stole It a shot. I agree with your Cowboy Commander. He could get a great pace to run at. If Stole It doesn't see the trip through, Cowboy Commander could be the one that gets the job done. And I put the 4-horse Uncle Willard. Hamill and McPherson don't lose too many.
No, they don't.
And so I put that one in for third. I give the mare, Graffiti Grace is running against the boys, but I give her a shot as well.
Yeah.
But I went 5, 7, and 4. On to the third race, some $5,000 fillies and mares going a mile on the 16th. I ended up on the 4-horse Maury's Glory. Had to battle on the head end and ended up hanging on against Medaya last time in an easier spot. Things are a little tougher, but this race didn't come up super tough. And I think she's going to be dangerous. I put the 3-horse Miss Heatheridge in behind and the 2 Willamette. I went 4, 3, and 2.
I agree with your top pick, Maury's Glory. Ran much higher all of her career. Dropped down to the $4,000 level, made no mistake. This is not much of a move forward off of that. This is a spot to be, and I think she repeats. I put Haida Guai in the second spot. Last time she ran for this 2-back, just got beat by Victoria's Spirit. She came back in that tough race, against Fair Command, Jazz Unlimited, one of those starter series. Much tougher. Richard Hamill in the irons again. She comes back in a week. Not really a Mike Anderson type move, but because he did it, I will leave it in his hands that he likes her to come right back and run a big one. And the third spot, I went with Willamette, obviously dropping down to the $5,000 level. She's got the back class. If she shakes loose on the lead early, she could be tough to catch. I got 4, 5, and 2 in the third. On to the fourth, 2-year-old maiden special weight, going the 3.5 distance. I went with the 6 Birdie Num Nums under Amadeo Perez. He comes out of a very tough race. Yes, that's
Birdie
quite a race. Quite a name, I should say. He comes out of the Sedin Bluegrass Angus race. Very tough horses there. You're going to see both of them, or you're going to see Bluegrass Angus later on in a maiden special weight, and Sedin will be one of your favorites in the Jack Diamond Futurity. So I got Birdie Num Nums on top, under leading rider Amadeo Perez. The second spot, I went to the 1-horse I Believe in Angel. Good connections here, Anita Bolton. Good works. Nick and Pauline Felicello paid a tidy sum for this horse, $55,000 at the BC sale. Gets Richard Hamill. I like I Believe in Angel in the second spot. And the third spot, a horse that was scratched last time, but I keep picking in the mix, is Wild Rose of Texas. Jody Rawson having a strong meet, batting 32%. Got beat by Cedarburg, who came back to win on BC Cup Day. Only got beat 2.5 lengths. I don't mind Wild Rose of Texas. Daughter of Texas Wildcatter in the third spot. I went 6, 1, and 4.
Yeah, I can see those 3 horses. My top pick is not in the race yet. The 10 horse Kiss Him Goodbye. Hopefully, he will get in the race. Tried to pull that angle off last week with a 3.5 furlong race, but this horse has got good speed. Challenged some pretty Bluegrass Angus last time through some tough fractions, and even prior to that against Lord Rossberg. This horse is pretty quick, and I just think with the outside draw, if he does get in, he's definitely worth mentioning. I agree with your 6, Birdie Num Num's good third place run. Amadeo usually rides for Anita Bolton, but ends up on this one. So obviously, not usually it's Perez on Anita Bolton's horses and Hamill on Craig McPherson's, but they flip-flopped in here, and it looks like Amadeo had the pick here because he did ride this horse to a third place run behind the highly touted Sedin and Bluegrass Angus. So I got that one in for second. I agree with Wild Rose of Texas. Excellent speed in his debut behind Cedarburg, or her debut, and good comeback work. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that one do well at this 3.5 furlong distance. I went 10, 6, and 4. On to the 5th race, $4,000 onwards at 2. Colts and Geldings here going 6.5 panels. Ended up in the 5, Act Exotically. I think there's going to be a bunch of speed in here. I think we have Shotgun Ralph going to make his presence felt early. Storm Over Sky, Lord Gallivic, and WW Wanderer always seems to go out there and pressure the pace for a half a mile, and I think it could play out nicely for the Rennie Lumsden trainee, and I'll try that one to win it. I put the 8 Lord Gallivic in for second. Phil Hall trainee drops in class, pretty significant rider change, and I put the who did I put in for third here?
You got 7, I think.
7. I can't read my writing. The 7 or Storm Over Sky, yes, for Alan May. Yeah, good. Pace casualty last time. Not too sure what happened, but this horse is better than that race. But I do like the 5. I act exotically. I went 5, 8, and 7.
I have the same horses, a little bit different order. I put Lord Gallivic on top. As you mentioned, a nice rider change. Yeah. He was running for 8. Good second behind Leo's in the house. Came back, wasn't really a factor against Majestic Mark in that, but he drops down to the $4,000 level. I think that gives him a big shot in here. The second spot, I put Storm Over Sky, as you mentioned, for Hall of Fame trainer Alan May. I'll throw out his last race. Keyshawn Bell Gobin takes over again. He knows this horse. He's done well on this horse, running second to Sterling Remark, 2 back. And the third spot, your top pick, Act Exotically. He obviously figures to be a big presence in here. I got 8, 7, and 5 in the 5th. On to the 6th.
Security time.
The girls. No, sorry, yes.
The boys.
Sorry. Correction. The boys run first in the 6th race. The Jack Diamond Futurity going 6.5.
Neil McRae got you there because you saw Sedin and you saw Sedin's sisters.
Yes, exactly. Did, yeah. Girls, no. Boys.
Boys.
Speaking of Sedin, I picked Sedin. He only had the 1 race, but it was a very impressive race. Broke kind of tardy in a 3.5 race. He's a well-bred son of Rosberg out of a Smokin' Danielle, who was a very tough mare around these parts for many years.
Yeah.
But just really impressed with his move down the lane. I like his style. If Keyshawn can get him to relax early and make one move, I think he's going to be tough. That was back at the beginning of August, but his last work, September 11th, 59-3 for a 2-year-old. That's my top pick. Solid. The second spot, again, I went with a horse, might be a little bit of a price, was Merlot. Dino thought enough of this horse to run his first out in a stake. And actually, I talked to Dino at the sale. We were talking about how he just kind of lost his first start. He croaked, he was getting out, he was all over the track, and he just kind of tossed that one out. Come back, I thought we had a bang-up race. Got a 58 buyer for his second one, and galloped out really strong. A horse that looks like he wants to run farther and farther. And again, a Rosberg out of Napa, who was a stakes winner here for Swift Thoroughbreds. Leading rider Amadeo Perez takes over for Richard Hamill, who is on the horse I've picked in third. He's going to be your favorite. I put him in the 3rd spot. It's 2-year-old, so you never can tell. I just wasn't sure if he was beating tough enough horses. He was handling them very easy and doing it in decent times, but I just think this is the toughest test that he's faced so far. But he will be your favorite, Lord Rosberg. I went 1, 6, and 2. You
got the Rosberg triactor?
I do have the Rosberg triactor.
I went to Lord Rosberg. I think he's the best colt in the race. I think he's the most seasoned. Sedin might end up being the best horse down the road, maybe. But
he's only had the one 3.5.
run,
Yeah,
he was a little green in that race, but he showed a lot of raw ability, and the rail is not where you want a horse that's a tad green. Lord Rosberg's a professional horse. He's doing everything right, and that's usually what generally professional horses will beat. Raw, talented horses as 2-year-olds. And I'm going to try Lord Rosberg over Sedin, and I put the 5 Forest Trees Devil in for third. He's a cool horse. He's not as good as Lord Rosberg, but I think he's the third best in here. I went 2, 1, and 5. On to the Sadie Diamond Futurity.
Girls' turn.
Yep, we got, they're going 6.5 furlongs as well. Got 9 of them signed on. And I went to the 7 Finality's Charmer, and I'm not going to be too clever in here. I think she's the best filly, and she showed it last time. She drew away with some easy fractions. She will have to work a little harder for the head end. I think the 2 Biscuit will go from her end. They can't get Biscuit covered up and expect to win the race. Biscuit has to go. Her lone win did come in wire-to-wire fashion. They tried to rate her because she had a stablemate in the race. I think it was, what was the other horse? Biscuit and some other one that started with a B. Yeah, Bullet. And Biscuit's got to go. Splendid Scat's got to go. And Sheepbird should go. I mean, there should be a pace in here, which may make things a little difficult for Finale's Charmer, but I still like the horse. It has some versatility to it. I put the 8 Quattro Cat, who should get a pretty good pace to run at, although her best race was when she was on the head end as well, and when she went wire to wire. She was kind of a little, a no-threat second last time. I think she needs to be more in the game as well. And I put the 4-horse Rockport Dancer, who has some ability, it looks like, in the mornings. She's a Rockport Harbor out of a Gone West mare, but dropped here in BC, so you got a pretty nice little pedigree for a BC bred. And this race, you can go on 119 or 118 and 3 or something. You might hit the board in here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's not, out of the question. It looks like she's done some good things. We'll see. But definitely the accomplished runners are the 7 and 8. I went 7, 8, 4.
I got the same top 2 in the same order. Finality's Charmer's done everything right so far. She's going to be your favorite, and she's my top pick. Yeah. Quattro Cat was right there with her, beat her nose. But last time there was not much competition. She beat her by 5. But I think Quattro Cat is the second best horse in here for Stuart and May Carmichael and Dave and Sylvia Gregory. Amadeo Perez taking over will not hurt her chances either. Nope. And the third spot, I went with Chic Bird out of the John Morrison barn. John Morrison has a small barn, but he takes very good care and has his horses ready. And a filly that's going the right way, a good second and then a win last time in 118 and 3, as Mike just mentioned. That kind of time will probably put you in the mix in here. Good enough for third. I went 7, 8, and 6. And a horse I would mention, an interesting one that I was looking at in here, does not have a rider signed on at this time, but Queen of Barn Eye from Rob Mabins. If you watch her first race, she was left at the gate, was nowhere to be found, and just an incredible move down the lane, covered a lot of ground. So an interesting
comeback works are good too.
Yeah, exactly, for trainer Rob Mabins. So just an interesting horse I thought I'd mention, Queen of Barn Eye. But as Mike would say, go down to the paddock and have a look at them. They are 2-year-olds. And on to the nightcap, 3-year-olds and up, $4,000 claimers, going 6.5. And I've gone to the very outside, the 10-horse Bridge Jumper. Down at this level, won a non-3, 4,000, then went into open company. But he ran into Ruffy Joe and I Don't Roll on Shabbos, who came back and ran a corker on BC Cup Day to win the championship race of that starter series. So 2 good horses in front of him. Strong connections, Troy Taylor and North American Thoroughbreds. I got Bridge Jumper on top. He should be able to work out a decent trip from the 10-hole. In the second spot, I went to the 4, Lord Harlow. Keyshawn Belgone was on this horse last time. He gets Amadeo Perez now. Only got beat a length by Captain Salt, who's very tough at this category. So I got Lord Harlow in the second spot. And the third, I went to Game 7. Good third, or only got beat 3 lengths by Tamarack Smarty and Sorty Canuck. Wise Boss for 8,000, drops in for 4, gets Richard Hamill. Nothing wrong with that. I got 10, 4, and 2.
I went to the 8-horse Wise Boss, the one you just mentioned. This horse
Boss
was a good third to Tamarack Smarty in that race. 2 back, came back last weekend to run against I Don't Roll on Shabbos and come away home in that tough starter series. So this is easier for Wise Boss, and perhaps if the 1 week back doesn't do him in, I think he's pretty live. I put the 2 Game 7 in for second. Easier company for him. He had a bit of an early run last time before flattening out. And I put the 4-horse Lord Harlow, with, as you mentioned, with Amadeo Perez. Not his best distance probably at 6.5, but he's more of a distance runner at 1:16, but still, you must respect the connections. I went 8, 2, and 4 in the Sunday finale. Well, that'll do it for our analysis of the Sunday September 21st program. Up next, now we see it on screen, will be a quick recap of our selections. Back in race number 1, I went to the 3, Diaz Saban. I went 3, 2, and 4. Race number 2, I went to the 5, Stole It, hoping for a wire-to-wire performance. 5, 7, and 4 in the second. Race number 3, I went to the 4 horse, Maury's Glory. 4, 3, and 2. Race number 4, the 10, Kiss Him Goodbye. Gonna hope it gets in front, or gets into the race, number 1, and then does Kiss Him Goodbye, with the race being only 3.5 furlongs. I went 10, 6, and 4. In the 5th race, I went to the 5, Act Exotically, hoping for a big pace duel on up front, because she does come from off the pace. I went 5, 8, and 7. 6th race, the first of the Futurities, I went to the 2, Lord Rosberg, 2, 1, and 5, but a very good renewal of the Jack Diamond Futurity. And then in the Sadie Diamond Futurity, I went 7, 8, and 4. Penelope's Charmer for the Shaws. And in the 8th and final, I went to the 8, Wise Boss. I went 8, 2, and 7.
Up next will be my picks. There we go. In the first, I went with the 4, Little Blossom over the 3 and the 2. In the second, I went with the 7, Cowboy Commander over the 1 and the 6. In the third, I go with Mike on number 4, Maury's Glory over the 5 and the 2. In the fourth, I went to the 6, Birdie Num Nums over the 1 and the 4. In the fifth, I went to the 8, Lord Galovic over the 7 and the 5. In the sixth, the Jack Diamond Futurity, I went to the very talented number 1, Sedine over the 6, Merlot, and the 2, Lord Rosberg. In the 7th, I went to the 7, Finality's Charmer over the 8, Quatre Cat, and the 6, Chic Bird. And the nightcap, the 8th, I went to number 10, Bridge Jumper over the 4 and the 2.
All right, that'll do it for the Sunday edition of Handicapper's Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. And don't forget, if you're going out to the races at Hastings, pick up, if you're down on the tarmac, pick up the
little helper
Derby
sheet.
coupon here. You got our picks on it, got the overnight on the back, as well as a 2-for-1 coupon right here for the Derby Bar and Grill. If you're not getting out to Hastings, please do. If you're in the South Surrey area, come on out here to the Derby Bar and Grill. See Drew, Chef Andy, lots of food specials going on, as well as lots of televisions here.
Lots of racing action.
Enjoyable Sunday afternoon of racing. On behalf of Drew, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next weekend here at the Derby Bar and Grill on Handicapper's Corner.
Do this here in the Telegraph. For Rivera fight, I hear his foot's on.